Welcome to Nitpicking Nerds, and it's time for a tier list.
We're talking about Commander's banned cards.
I'm your host, Joe Cherries.
I'm your host, Beezy, and that makes us the Nitpicking Nerds every single day of every single week of every single month, forever, until you die and we die. There's going to be a new video. So if you want to support the new video, there's patrons scrolling on screen right now, and you can join them by going to the link in the description.
We love all of our patrons as much as we can without making them uncomfortable. And if you would like to support us indirectly, because Patreon is a direct way to support us, there are 3 links in the description. Well, first, you're going to buy the magic card you wanted to buy anyway? Well, for the same exact price, you can use our TCG Player affiliate link, get those cards shipped directly to your house, and support the nerds without spending extra dime. Same is true for Dragon Shield. They have the best sleeves in the multiverse.
Good sleeves.
And those sleeves will be used to sleeve all the cards you just bought on TCG Player. Use our affiliate links in the description. Spend no extra money. Support the nerds. And last but not least, our cool snazzy shirts from IntoTheAM. There's also a link in the description for that. You get 10% off the link, and you support this channel. So that's pretty cool.
Who knew it would extend into wearing cool shirts?
Yes, all the time. Who wants to be cool like the Nitpicking Nerds?
We're sponsored by Moxfield. There's an ad somewhere. It's going to be very obvious once we start. But right now, if you go to time code guess in the description, you're not going to be able to guess. So just forget that I've stumbled over my words because you already failed. And happy birthday to everyone whose birthday is today.
Yes, and there is a Moxfield ad. We never forget it, and we've never forgotten in the past.
No, there was a fly in the last video, though.
There was a fly in the last video that ate the Moxfield ad out of the video.
Not our fault.
Not our fault. We can't prevent that.
But we have to go small for this tier list.
Yes, so let's get tiny. Actually, before we get tiny, hold on. You're really ready to get tiny, but we have to actually go over, one, kind of what a tier list is and some criteria so people know. People know we're talking about banned cards, but not every single banned card's on here, right, BZ?
No, not every card is banned. Not every card that is banned is on here, and not every card is banned. These are the banned cards that are not legendaries, don't require physical dexterity, and don't have ante on them or some unplayable conspiracy thing. So this is the other 30 cards. It's kind of an even number that ends up on the list. So we're going to rank them from the weakest poop to the strongest S tier. This is a pretty strong list, so I imagine they would trend upwards.
Yes, I want to say this. I think we're comparing them to each other.
Yes.
So a poop tier banned card will still be a very strong magic card, most likely. So keep that in mind.
Yeah, there's no weak cards here. The worst cards on here are like 2-card combos.
Yes, they're the worst. So now we can finally do the Shrinky Dink move. All right, BZ, grab the patented Nitpicking Nerds computer.
This computer itself is patented, and we're going to start with the very first banned card, in alphabetical order, obviously. Ancestral Recall. Blue mana for an instant. Draw 3 cards. Is that good?
Yeah, in fact, it's one of the best magic cards ever printed in the history of Magic.
Possibly the best.
It's undoubtedly top 10.
5.
Top 10, top 5. It's undoubtedly in that range. This is the easy S. I mean, how good is Ancestral Recall? It obviously needs to be banned. This is an auto-included. Every single blue deck that would ever be built throughout the history of time,
yeah,
if it was legal, which we don't want. We don't want auto-includes, and this 100% auto-include just can get out of this format.
Yeah, it would also just be so easy to find. I mean, I would start Mystical Tutoring for this. I would start Spell Seekering for this, and it would just, you'd see our Ancestral Recall like twice every game.
It makes up for the card disadvantage from the tutors I put on top. This doesn't matter.
Yeah, so Balance is 1 and a white. This is also a very fair card. Everybody goes down to the lowest number of everything. So cards in hand, lands, creatures, it all just becomes whatever's lowest. So if I control 2 creatures, 2 lands, and I have no cards in my hand, everybody else has the same deal. Yeah,
Balance is, for fun, Balance is a poop tier card.
About as bad as it gets.
It's one of the least fun Magic cards ever printed. It's not fun. It is obviously over the top, ridiculously strong. Is this an S tier one again? Because it is realistically, when you build and play to make this card good, it is, again, one of the best cards ever printed in Magic.
When you spew out all the fast mana from your hand, you're going to have 2 lands in play, then you have no cards. Everybody else gets to keep 5 artifacts, but they don't have any because it's turn 2. And so not only is all the lands gone, like with Armageddon, but there's no cards in anyone's hand. So it's just a standstill.
This is probably an A. So I don't think it's on the Ancestral Recall auto-include in any deck that can play it, but it is a card that, when built around, is absolutely over the top, ridiculous, and there are 2-card combos with it in the format. There is Teferi's Protection.
Ooh.
Is a card. Teferi's Protection just ends the game, essentially.
Oops, you have nothing.
Yeah, I have nothing. You guys sacrifice everything.
Yes, even phasing out 1 creature could maybe end the whole game like that. Biorhythms next. I believe it's 6 green for a sorcery. Everybody's life total becomes equal to the number of creatures they control. So this is like not always even that good. If the board is super clogged, everybody's life goes to like 10, but nobody can get through. Sometimes they have no creatures and you wipe the board and then you have 1 and the game's over.
Yeah, Biorhythm is a card. This is one that I'm not like sure why it's banned. It's the instant win, but we have a ton of those in this format, right? Like, how many instant wins do we have in Commander? 2. Only 2? Oh, well, okay, that's good because they're both banned then. Well, Biorhythm just is on the ban list, and I don't agree with this one being on the ban list. It's one of the least powerful cards here, right? It's not even close. It's got to be poop tier.
I think so.
When you're comparing this to banned cards, right, and we're doing it a tier list where the worst cards are obviously still very strong, this has to be poop tier. It is not that good of a Magic card. Is it annoying in Commander? Can I see why maybe it's banned? Maybe.
Well, it's a really high variance game ender. So a lot of times you're not going to end the game, but sometimes you're just going to like cripple people, and then sometimes you do end the game in your favor.
Yeah, exactly. So Biorhythm is one of the worst power-wise on the entire ban list.
Yeah, it's got to be. Black Lotus, it's 0 mana for an artifact, and you tap and sack it to add 3 mana of any one color. Slightly better than Biorhythm. Do you want to give it a D?
This is another one of the best cards ever printed in Magic. I mean,
yeah, it's really. I don't know if it's better than Ancestral Recall. Maybe with a Commander it is. We'll just put it above.
It
whatever.
probably is better than Ancestral Recall. I mean, it's one of it's an auto include in every deck ever made in Commander if it is legal in the format. And
yeah, it just gives you also like Commander. The format gives you a guaranteed thing to do. It's like every format of Commander is now turn 1-able with Black Lotus, and we see it with Jewel Lotus. And it's like, well, man, if there was 2 running around,
it's already part of combos. It would be part of so many different loops and combos. And this
LED is
and it's bad. The bad version of the card. So think about that.
Yeah, they tack on discard your hand, and we're still going infinite. Channel, what a card. It's green. I don't know. It might be a sorcery or an instant. Who cares? You can pay life for the turn to add colorless mana to your mana pool, and we start at 40 life. So you could just easily go make 20 colorless mana, cast an Eldrazi, and some kind of mana rock.
Yeah, this card, obviously, silly unfair. You just put all the Eldrazis in your deck, you channel, you play Eldrazi, you annihilate people, they lose, right? Because, like, how is this card remotely beatable?
What are you doing? How do you stop that?
There's so many combos with it. You can go off with it. I mean, I do think that this is an unfair, stupid card, but at the same time, because anything you could ever do with it is not going to be fun or fair. Mm-mm. I don't think it's as powerful as a lot of the other ones in this list. Now, it's a great Magic. I'm not, and like, again, we're comparing this.
Ancestral Recall is what we're comparing this
Yes, we're comparing this with Ancestral Recall. I'm not channel, amazing Magic card. Busted. But I think I'll put it in B.
B.
I think that's where I would put it.
Okay, because, I mean, we're talking we draw this late. It's really not impactful.
Yeah. I mean, also.
Maybe that's what you're, like, because early, it's completely unbeatable.
It's unbeatable depending on the deck also. It does have an impact of like certain decks might not be able to cheat out the right things.
Not an auto include, I don't think.
No, I don't think so either. I don't think all green decks should be playing channel.
Maybe they would anyway. Maybe it's just that good. But anyway, we'll put it at a B. It's really good. Totally should be banned. We're not saying it shouldn't. Coalition Victory, however, I don't know. It's like 3 Wooburg. If you control a creature of every color and a land of each basic land type, you win the game. Otherwise, there's no other words on this, so nothing happens. So if you get responded to or like wastelanded, this spell does nothing.
Yeah, exactly. Coalition Victory is just down there. This is one of the cards that we've talked about the most, possibly being unbanned because we don't really get it too much. It's just poop tier. It's not a bad Magic card. It is a cool. I think honestly, even though it's not that hard to do, it's a cool like hoop to jump through to try and win the game. Honestly,
I mean, it's more reliable, I think, than like maybe Approach of the Second Sun.
Yeah, but even then, it's just like Approach is legal in this format. It seems like the same kind of power level to me.
Yeah, it feels about the same. You can Approach, dig through time, Approach again. I don't know, reduce the cost or something. Coalition Victory never really hurt anybody. It's fine. It can end games. Mm-hmm. It's another high variance win count is what it is actually. So right there, poop tier with good pal Biorhythm. Fast Bond feels very channel-esque because you can pay a life to play an extra land any number of times.
Yeah, this card falls into the high variance thing again, where it's not about it being necessarily busted per se, right? It's really good, obviously very strong, and in 60 card formats, completely broken.
And 40 life formats.
Now, one of the biggest things that's going to do in Commander is it's going to be such high variance. And that's one of the main reasons it's banned, right? Is the player that draws this and has it on turn 1 has the biggest, like most over-the-top, ridiculous advantage every single time. Like, we already see how good of an advantage something like Exploration can be right away. And that's worse than this. This is
way worse.
Way worse. Because now when you have explorations, it's one extra land. But it's like, if I draw 30 cards, I can put all my lands in play and just keep going because Fast Bond is so busted.
Yeah, I mean, there's, extra land spells. It's, you're having a really good turn. AC is going to go off this turn. But if you play AC and Fast Bond, I'm quitting. I'm not playing this game.
The game's over.
It's over. We're done. We don't have to see anything else. If your lands turn into cards or creatures with Omnath or something, we're done. The Fast Bond is like a hammer.
It is. I mean, the card's very, very strong.
It's probably got to be in B, right?
Yeah, right with channel. I think it's right with channel. It's, again, I don't know if that would... It might be an auto-include in every single green. Let's move it to A. Because it might be...
I feel like if channel's B, this thing has to be B. I feel like it's worse than channel.
I don't know if it is worse than channel. I think it might be better than channel.
What if we did this? We settle for this?
I think it should be an
Or will you settle for this?
Yes, I'll settle. No.
Yeah.
No, channel's
for that?
No, channel's in B.
Okay, they're both in B?
Fine. Well, channel's in B.
This next 10 minutes is going to be us moving those two. Flash. 1 blue. Instant. Put a creature from your hand into play. Then if you can't pay its cost reduced by 2, which is flash cost, you sacrifice it. The problem is, oh boy, that just opens up the doors for a lot of things. Because if there's an ETB, a dies, or some kind of trigger that you don't really care what the creature is, this is 2 mana for whatever you need. Like Protean Hulk, perhaps?
Flash is actually really bad. This is not a good Magic card. It has combos. It does certain things really well. But in Commander, this card wasn't doing anything without Protean Hulk. It was seeing 0 play until Protean Hulk was unbanned, and then they banned Flash out after that. For me, Flash is probably the weakest single card banned. It's because of a combo. This is the only ban here for CEDH on the whole list. But
yeah, it might have done something with Thassa's Oracle, because I don't remember. This is why it's so weird, because CDH Rules Committee doesn't ban for competitive, or the EDH Rules Committee doesn't ban for competitive because they don't care because this isn't a competitive format. But this was like the exception. So I don't know if there was something with like Thassa's Oracle, but either way, how it went was the problem was they cast Flash. If it resolves, you lose, so you have to counter it. But then they have whatever it is they're going to flash in their hand still. I think it was really weird. So we want to just put in poop. Right?
Yeah, I think
it's definitely better than the other two.
I don't even know if it is better than the other two. Because
even flashing in I'll pay 2 mana for Archon of Cruelty or some of the other banned cards on here.
Yeah, but that's not even. I will honestly say I think it is worse than the other two.
Let's round it up and do this.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay,
yep, perfect.
Gifts Ungiven is 3 and a blue for an instant. Search for 4 cards, different names. Obviously, they have different names. This is Commander. Then your opponent splits them in half, and 2 go to your graveyard and 2 go to your hand. So it's already 4 mana, draw 2 really good cards. But it's like the biggest tutor. You can't really tutor for more cards than this at once.
Yeah, it's a tutor for 4 cards to split. There are many ways to just win the game with this, much like Intuition, which isn't banned in the format. Very strong Magic card. I mean, the problem with it is, right, it's 4 mana. You put yourself in a position to win as soon as you untap, which is immediately because you did this at the end step right before your turn.
Right. So it can do a lot of different things. I wish someone would tell me. I just don't know. Can Intuition... Is there anything Gifts can do that Intuition can't do in terms of meeting some benchmark? Because I know Intuition can win the game. There's piles that do that. I think it's LED, Underworld Breach, and Savine's Reclamation, something like that. It was just like an auto win. So I'm not really sure if we're counting this as an auto win. Well, then dang, that's pretty good. If we're counting it as a really good card that can be an auto win, maybe it's like a C. It feels middle of the roadie. I mean, it also feels like if channel's a B, this has to be maybe lower.
No, I think C makes sense for this.
C's fine?
Yeah, the card is good in Commander, very strong, and does lead to a lot of instant wins. But, again, it's more just... It's comparing it to the cards that's next to it. It's not that... Again, Gifts Ungiven, amazing Magic card in
Format
Commander.
defining.
Yeah, it would be format defining. It would be in a lot of blue decks. You would see it all the time. But we're comparing it to Ancestral Recall, Channel, Fast Bond. These are these cards that are absolutely 100% busted and can't be legal in any format.
Yeah.
Gifts Ungiven is legal in tons of formats. It just can't be in Commander.
Yeah, this is actually the first card, the highest card now ranked that was actually designed to be fair. Because the rest of them, they didn't care. They were just trying to make a cool card game.
Yeah.
And they succeeded. But now they're trying to make it fair. So that's where Gifts ends up. Next is Hoebreacher, the most recent ban? Question mark? Maybe? I don't know. Actually, no. But it is 3/2 for 3 with Flash. And if an opponent would draw an extra card aside from their draw step, they don't. And you get a treasure, which turns out backbreaking.
Yeah, this card is backbreaking, and it was designed for the Commander format, but was made a little too good. It having Flash is pretty problematic.
That means that turns it into a counterspell.
The fact that this is just a 2-card combo to essentially win the game. It doesn't literally win, but it actually does something even more miserable, where it makes it so all your opponents don't play, and you're the only one playing.
Yeah, you cast Hoebreacher and Windfall. Okay, well, you get 20 treasures. Nobody has a hand except for you. And now you get to figure out what to do next. And it's like this non-deterministic loop that you're basically just dead. And also that the counterspell thing I mentioned, like somebody tries to draw cards or even just the monarchy. It's like, no, stop that. And now this threat's in play and you have to kill it.
Yeah, exactly. This is just a very strong magic card, obviously. It's just not fun to play against. I think this one is not the most powerful. Like, again, we're back to comparing these to look where we're comparing.
The best cards ever.
The best cards of all time. Is it busted as a magic card? No, but the reason it's banned is it's not fun and it was ubiquitous,
it's
right?
Pretty groany, but definitely a groan test. Do you want to put a D?
It was D or C for me, yeah.
I think D's fine. It's certainly better than Biorhythm, and I would believe it's worse than Gifts Ungiven.
It definitely is worse than Gifts Ungiven, right? Because Gifts Ungiven is an auto win in a lot of situations. We don't really get that here, right?
Yeah, sometimes Gifts is also just like a hard tutor. It's like, I'll go find Snapcaster Mage mission briefing and a spell I want, or I'll go find Unburial Rites and a creature I want, where it's like definitely just kind of some kind of weird tutor. Hoebreacher, we said the ceiling. The maximum ceiling is like, dang, you locked everybody out of the game.
Yeah.
Which is pretty good. So let's go to the next card. One of the worst cards in the format in terms of compatibility. It's Caracas. It's a land. It's taps for white and enters untapped, or you can just tap it and bounce a legendary creature. We have a lot of those.
The format is completely designed around legendary creatures. You literally pick a legend, put it in your command zone, and that's your commander for your deck, and it's the card you have access to every single game, meaning a card like Caracas literally just does not have the compatibility. The ability on a land for no cost and only a white deck, so only certain colored decks get this, is just absolutely not fair, not fun, and just not compatible with the format. Caracas as a card for strength, it's strong, Commander.
It's good.
It's very strong, very good. But
it feels like more of a fun ban.
But it is definitely partially fun, and just the card it's not compatible.
Do we want to put it in D behind Hoebreacher?
I don't think so. I think actually,
well, it's less fun than that. Maybe a C.
I think it's C. I think it's C. It's somewhere with Gifts Ungiven,
but not for power. For fun.
I mean, even for power.
Yeah, well, it's really good. It's just a free untapped source that interacts with.
For fun, this is like an S tier ban. It's like perfect. Yeah. It's like this should be banned for fun, obviously. But for power, it's like a C. I don't think that this would be broken, but I think it's unfun. Like completely and utterly unfun for the Commander format.
Oh yeah, Library of Alexandria. This is an interesting one, and as far as why it's banned, couldn't really tell you. It's a land that like taps to draw a card if you have 7 cards in hand.
Yeah, I'm not sure about this one either. I don't know. I honestly don't know how good this card would be in Commander. I have zero clue.
It's very free. It would certainly be on the good side of things, I would imagine.
It is an absolute free roll for decks that can afford the free land. And anytime you have 7 cards, okay, all of a sudden you just have access to an extra card. It already taps for mana, so you don't even have to like jump through the hoop. Like some of the old lands that are really good don't tap for mana, like Pendlehaven, but it's like this one's just like, nah, I tap for mana already.
I think you mean Tabernacle? Pendlehaven definitely taps for mana.
Pendlehaven? Yeah, sorry. Tabernacle of Pendlehaven.
Pendrell Vale.
Yep.
Unrelated place.
Got there. Yeah.
Yes, different card. This feels like right below Caracas to me. It's equally as big of a free roll auto include. Maybe slightly less powerful.
Yeah, I mean it's
close.
Definitely. Yeah, it's definitely wouldn't be unfun, but it's another card where it's like, how many decks play this? Probably way too many.
Maybe just all of them. I don't know.
It's such a free roll. Yeah.
Right. If you start the game with it, you just get more cards. So let's go to Limited Resources. This is a podcast with Marshall Sutcliffe and Luis Scott Vargas. It's also a 1-mana enchantment that like shuts down the board and locks it to 10 lands, I think, total. And that's not even balanced for everybody. So that coupled with you can't have more than 5 lands when this thing enters, because that's what it does. It makes everybody sack down to 5. Just complete misery. I don't. It's about as strong as like every other Armageddon, maybe worse because you keep lands, but for fun, it's just non-existent.
Yeah, exactly. This card obviously needs to be banned out of this format because it's like this annoying mass land destruction. Fine, whatever. We have mass land destruction that's pseudo banned in this format, but this is mass land destruction in a weird way. And then if you play this on turn like 3, suddenly everyone it literally goes. I have 3 lands. 2, 2, 2. What is that? That's there's 2 3s and 2 2s.
Right.
For lands. What is that?
Now there's no more lands.
Now there's no more lands that can be played until this is removed. How is that a compatible card with the format? It's obviously not designed for a 4-player format whatsoever.
Right. So when you want to put it for power though, do you want to put it in D? because it's kind of like a one-trick pony. It's just
I agree. It's
Armageddon, and it's not the best Armageddon.
It's not.
But the problem is that it stops lands from being played.
It's not that powerful overall, but it is so annoying and so miserable to play against that. Yeah, obviously we never want to see this at the table.
Yeah, pretty lame. Next, this card is actually it's not banned. It's moxfield.com, and it's perfectly legal. You can just go to this website for free. Not illegal at all. Go to the website for free and build your deck, and use all the codes, all the tricks like tags and organization and pricing and sorting and viewing and playtesting and 85 others that I didn't mention to just make your deck faster and better than everybody else's.
Yeah, and if you put, say, like you put one of these cards in your deck, like Ancestral Recall, when you're building your deck, it'll show up in red to tell you that it is actually banned in the Commander format.
How helpful.
So, yeah, it is extremely helpful. So you know what cards are actually legal. If you're building, I've definitely come across more than one person, even some friends of mine who've been playing for 10 plus years, who put a prime time in the deck and don't know it's banned. Moxfield will prevent you from doing that.
The one I see the most is Braids, the black one. That card is definitely banned. Not on this list, though, because it's legendary. So let's just go ahead and move Moxfield where it belongs, right above Black Lotus at the S tier slot. Yep, that's real. That's the actual power ranking. And we can move on to the Moxen. I did us all a favor and just lumped them all into one. Any given Moxen. Turns out a free mana is basically a land that doesn't require the one land per turn rule.
So, BZ, you have to make the choice. What's better? All the 5 Moxen or Black Lotus?
I kind of have this as any one Moxen because I don't like lumping them all together because all 5 Moxen is probably better than Black Lotus, but I think any one Moxen might go like here in S tier because they're complete auto-includes in every single deck in the entire format, no matter what.
Yeah, I don't know which one's better. The Mox, is Mox, so let's just pick Sapphire. Mox Sapphire better than Ancestral Recall? Maybe. It's tough to
Who's going to make that call? Let's just put them in S tier, and I think I feel pretty confident with where we're at.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
We're not going to ruffle too many feathers by saying Ancestral Recall is better than all Moxen. Let's go to Panoptic Mirror, which is better than almost nothing. It's a 5-mana artifact, and you imprint something from your hand, and then your upkeep, you get a copy of it. So, like, I'm going to pay Panoptic Mirror for 5. Then I'm going to tap 5 and exile Time Warp from my hand. Now on my upkeep, I'm going to cast Time Warp for free, and that's infinite turns.
Yeah, but the problem with this card for me is you have to untap with it. It's extremely slow. This might be the least powerful card of the ban.
This might be the one.
I think this is the worst power card.
I'm certainly looking at the other ones, and they are not fair. So I feel like that's a good statement.
It has like unfun loops, Panoptic Mirror, but it's not a very strong magic card.
It's just kind of like a really slow Splinter Twin type effect.
It is a Splinter Twin type effect. You have to get all the way back around your turn and have the right thing exiled, and everyone knows it's coming. They have full turns to react to this.
Artifacts aren't the most easily interactable, but they're not the least either. I mean,
you don't even have to remove it. All you have to do is bounce it, so every color except black is able to do this.
Right, you can maybe counter the first Time Warp. There's a lot of interaction points.
I mean, you can also, like I said, bounce this, and it's over. It's over. The thing is imprinted, so it's exiled forever.
Right, they'll have to find another one.
Yeah.
Planet blends in with all the other Splinter Twins and Protean Hulks in the format where, like, that's the floor, apparently. That's what we're working with, is the floor of I win next turn. Paradox Engine is the next card. It's a 5-mana artifact. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, untap all of your non-land permanents.
Yeah, this card is, I think one of the main reasons it's banned out of this format is because it's really slow, long.
Non-deterministic.
Just you grind and slow. I don't know. This card doesn't seem that powerful. I think it has good, there are obviously really good things to do with this card. Don't get me wrong. But again, we're talking about comparing with the big boys. We're here with the Moxen. We're here with Fastbond. Where do you have Paradox Engine?
It's tough. It definitely created non-deterministic loops. And I don't even think we scratched the surface of what you can do with this because there's just so many loops to be had with it. It's really strong. And I remember thinking, I don't know if they had to ban Paradox Engine, but then I didn't miss it at all, which could just mean it blends in with the bottom poop tier cards. I kind of want to put it in C.
I was thinking C, D. Let's do D.
Top of D.
Yeah, I
think clearly off the chain.
The cards, again, anything outside of, so for me, anything outside of poop tier on this list is a great, strong magic card in Commander.
And then the poop tiers are just really, really good cards.
They're just good cards that I think maybe could be unbanned because they might not be powerful enough.
That's right. But, the rest of it is just complete busted in half nonsense. Primeval Titan. It's 6 mana for 6/6 with Trample. When it enters or attacks, you search for any 2 lands and you put them into play, tapped. This, I feel like, is banned partially because it would be, I've heard like it would be the centerpiece of the games. Everything's focused on it. It's sort of like the mid-rangey beat stick version of an unfair card. Doesn't really strike me as inherently broken, but it's certainly super powerful.
It is. This one's really, really interesting to me because I don't know that Primeval Titan's too strong for Commander. I do know it's one of these. It's an incredible Magic card.
It would be a staple.
It's a staple. It would be a staple of Commander. It's a staple of Modern. It really is a format-defining card. Every standard it's been legal in. It's been a great Magic card. It's always going to be a great Magic card. Where do you have this? I think this is a really good Commander card, and maybe even up in like the B tier.
It's so tough. I just feel like I know Paradox Engine is way better than Primeval Titan to me. So I wonder if we need to maybe up both of them to C tier.
See,
because like Paradox Engine to me goes in like it goes in less decks, but it's better in those decks. Primeval Titan is always like a flat line, really, really good.
Yeah, but
it wouldn't go in the best of the best decks. Primeval Titan.
It wouldn't go in the best of the best decks, but when we're talking about Commander, we're not always just talking about the best of the best decks, right?
It's true, but I guess we're talking about power. So like when Primetime doesn't make it and Paradox Engine is like decks built around it. It makes me feel like maybe Paradox Engine should go to C, and then Primetime just goes one below it.
It's interesting. It's such a different. It's two different power level discussions. Like,
oh yeah, one's like a 5 to 8, and the other one's like everything.
Yeah, like you're talking about Primetime. We're talking about everything like 8 and lower, right? Every single deck 8 and lower, you can probably play Primetime in Commander. And then with Paradox Engine, we're talking about very specific decks, but it's going to be one of the key pieces to the function of the deck, maybe even the win count for that deck. They're just such different things. I am fine with putting them both in C.
All right, let's do it.
But put Paradox Engine below.
I'll put it above.
No, I think Primetime's better in Commander.
All right, so Prophet of Krufix. We'll give you the next tiebreaker. Prophet of Krufix is a 5-mana 2/3. Your creature spells have flash, and you untap all your permanents on everybody else's untap step. Kind of an innocuous little rare, but people realize pretty quick, I get 4 turns.
Yeah, this card is obviously busted. I mean, combined with every single version of the draw when I play a creature card, okay, obviously this is a ridiculously over-the-top card. It's Seedboard Muse, which is already a strong Magic card in Commander, with your creatures have flash. That's too much. That is way too much. This card is over-the-top, ridiculous. This is one of the cards that when we're talking about Commander, we're talking about a weird line that this jumps. Because this is like an innocuous card in every other format.
It's just a bulk rare.
But it jumps. And like I'm talking about like A and B for this, right?
I think it's an A or B. I wasn't sure where to put it because it's just an auto-include staple. It dominates the game. It shatters any semblance of time equity.
It's so strange. So I think it's just an E. Let's give it an A.
Sure.
And this one is one of those like defining for Commander things because this one is like most of these cards up at this high are like cards that are amazing in every single format. But Prophet of Krufix is that in Commander, and it's really interesting to see a card that's like that because a lot of them, like almost every single one of these, except for maybe like there's a few like Paradox Engine is one of them where it's like it doesn't really have any other homes, but like. Other than that, it's like, these are great everywhere.
Everywhere. Recurring Nightmare is definitely one of those. It's 2 and a black for an enchantment, and you can, like, sacrifice a creature and return it to your hand and reanimate a creature.
Yeah, obviously a very, very silly Magic card.
Really good. Not part of too many infinite loops that I know of. Just seems like one of the best value engines you could possibly assemble.
It is part of some loops.
Yeah, it's probably something.
There is loops with this card, but it's also it's a silly value engine, like you said.
It takes fuels itself.
It takes nothing to get online. Always get back your best thing over and over again. The card is not fair. It's not well designed. It's obviously
How do you answer this card?
Yeah, exactly. Is this another A? This is probably top of A.
Maybe top of A. Okay. I guess. Yeah. So I'm looking at all these Channel and Fast Bond, pretty high variance, but Recurring Nightmare and Prophet are just like pretty consistently busted.
Yeah.
Still think we might have Paradox Engine a little low, but yeah, it's fine for now. Let's go to Shaharazad. This, I don't think is a very good card.
No, I think it's a terrible
card. It is so unbelievably unplayable.
Miserable.
You cannot play this card. It starts a sub-game of Magic, and then you lose half your life if you lose a sub-game. My God, don't even... No, this is like disgusting to try to even resolve. It could also lead to infinite games being played, which we just can't have. So it's clearly should be banned. Clearly, but I don't know how powerful it is.
Yeah, I always think Shaharazad is the worst card.
It might just be the worst.
It's worse than Panoptic Mirror, but obviously it needs to be banned. This is not a card that can be resolved in a reasonable manner in any sense of the word reasonable. So it's the easiest ban on the ban list. But yeah, I think it's poop tier for power. It's not a good Magic card, but if it was legal in Commander, it would be overly played because people
love stuff.
They would go crazy for this card.
Yeah, they really would. Wow. They're not going to increase your win percentage, though. Sundering Titan might increase your win percentage. It's a bunch of mana for a big boy. When it enters or leaves, you destroy a land of each type. So, like, when it enters, I'm destroying a plains, island, swamp, mountain, forest. And then when it leaves, not even dies, just leaves, I do all that stuff again. With 4 players, you got a pretty big likelihood of sniping all 5 of those at once that aren't yours.
Yeah, and one of the biggest things about Sundering Titan that is problematic for the Commander format is it's so easy to blink. It's so easy to keep doing.
Goes any deck.
It is definitely the most egregious of all mass land destruction that exists, most likely.
Certainly
right?
not a creature. I don't know about all of them, but it's not fun.
It's still I can't think of something that's more.
You have to cheat it. You can't just play it on turn 4.
Well, yeah, you can't just play it on turn 4, but also you don't. It doesn't destroy yours when you're actually playing it right. It's so easy in Commander to not be destroying any of your own stuff.
Oh, it also gives you the Urborg Yavimaya combos.
It's so many hard locks. You're gonna lock people out of the game with this card. It is unbelievably unfun, and it's definitely there's somewhere in between here where it's this is one of the best reanimation targets in the format.
Oh yeah.
And this is one of the least fun reanimation targets in the format if it's legal. So it's
I feel like we could put it in C, maybe below primetime.
Yeah, I kind of think it fits there too. It's a miserable Magic card.
This is a tough list to make.
I mean, definitely. It's hard to rank their actual power because
these cards never get played in the same area.
We don't play against these cards.
They're so out there and they're so different. Compare Prophet of Crucifix to Black Lotus to Paradox Engine to Limited Resources to Biorhythm.
So cards I've played against on this list, just to be quick, I've played against Flash, I've played against Prophet of Crucifix, I've played against Paradox Engine, and I've played against Hoebreacher. Is that it? I think that is literally all the ones on this whole list I've ever played against.
Yeah, there's one more for me because I think I started playing Commander a little bit earlier. Let's go on to Sway of the Stars. It's 1,000,000 mana. Everybody shuffles everything they have, all their permanents, all their hand, everything else into their graveyard, into their library, draw 7 cards, and then everyone's life total becomes 7. So you restart the game at 7 life. I don't really know how you take advantage of that. You have to have an O-ring or something.
It's kind of...
But everybody's at 7.
Yeah, it's kind of very similar to Worldfire, which is not banned in this format. And it's a win condition for some decks, but not a lot of decks, right?
This one?
Yeah, this or Worldfire, same thing. I'm putting them in the same exact boat.
They have weird ways to exile their own permanents or maybe phase them out or something, and then they go, whoop, it's asymmetrical, you're at 7, I kill you.
Yeah, so Sway of the Stars for me is in the poop tier.
Yeah, it's 9 mana. It feels like Biorhythm.
It's worse than Biorhythm, I think worse.
Probably worse than Flash.
Probably worse than Coalition Victory. It's way harder to take advantage of.
It's 9 mana.
It is better than Panoptic Mirror, I think, though.
We got that. We got that going for us. This card I've played against.
I've played against this one, too.
Sylvan Primordial. 7 mana for a 5/7 with reach. ETB, you destroy a non-creature permanent for each opponent. Then you get a forest into play tapped for each opponent. So it is a 6-for-1 on lands, and it's on ETB. So you can reanimate it and flicker it and get this thing in play really soon and end the game. I mean, if you get this in play on turn 2, it's over. Just quit.
So the talk about primetime earlier of it being the center of games, I don't know if that's true because I never played it against it. But
this one, yes.
This one was, and I saw it. This card is amazing in Commander. It was, like you said, it defined games. It ran away with games.
Way better than Primetime.
Way better than Primetime. So this is just is this a B?
I think so.
This card is super strong.
Obnoxious.
Game defining 6-for-1 on ETB. Clone it. Flicker it. Reanimate it.
You only get more ahead, and your opponents get more behind. They can't keep up. They can't answer this. They don't have lands.
It ramps you 3 lands. So if you like you said, if you ever can sneak this out, if you can this is one of the potential Entomb reanimate things that is game winning.
Yeah.
Nothing else is game winning like that. There's lots of good Entomb reanimate, lots of strong ones, lots of very good ones. Nothing like this. This is going to win you the game essentially because you're going to be so far ahead.
Yeah, I think the big problem with this is that it wastelands so that there's no catching up. I wonder if this would be banned if it was just non-creature, non-land permanent.
I also think I don't know. I also think one of the biggest problems is the ramping is way too good too.
It's out of control.
It is absolutely out of control. I mean, it's 3 lands every time he plays, and it just keeps going. It doesn't stop.
No, it's huge resource disparity. So that's enough about Sylvan Primordial. Next, we got Time Vault. It taps to take an extra turn, but it doesn't untap. Well, let me tell you right now.
Also, enters tapped.
There's ways to untap it, so you can take an extra turn for very little mana. And also, if you have a way to untap it, like Kiora's Follower, the common from Board of the Gods, you take infinite turns.
Yeah, this might be... So, this is the card that I feel like people don't talk about enough. If this was legal in Commander, this might be the best card in Commander. It is so easy to go infinite with this card. So easy. It takes nothing. You barely have to try and this card goes infinite.
If you just look at it long enough, it'll just untap.
Talking about the Commander format, this might literally be it's definitely S tier.
Sure.
It might be better than, I'm not saying it is. It might be better than Black Lotus. It might be better than Moxen.
Who knows?
I mean, it would be a format-defining card, one of the best cards in the whole entire format, and absolutely silly.
This is what Panoptic Mirror dreams of being.
This is what Panoptic Mirror dreams of being. Easy S tier card is obviously absurd.
It just goes in every deck. It could go in every deck. I mean, if you just play I'll put in Voltaic Key and I'll put in Hero's Follower instead of the other ramp spell. It's just, why not? What's the downside? I mean, it's a dead card. Unless you draw it, then you win. Unless you draw something else, you win. I mean,
Voltaic already Voltaic is going to be 0% downside in any deck, right? Because you can also just because the Voltaic Key can just untap all of your fast mana rocks to be mana positive. Mm-hmm. It's okay, I think it's already good in the deck, so I don't think we have any downside.
I wonder if it maybe should go down to A, maybe top of A.
Oh man, that's tough. But it feels like an S tier to me.
It's kind of in the field of 2-card combos. It's a brick, but with a lot of different cards, it wins.
I mean, it feels so it's barely a brick. It's just it's a brick.
You're certainly not activating it.
It's
it doesn't do anything by itself.
It's a brick but when it's not so it doesn't. There's nothing in between, right? This card is brick or win. Mm-hmm. So that's why it's really interesting.
I think we'll put it in A then, because there is brick at least.
I think I'd be in A.
S tiers don't have bricks, but this next one, Time Walk, 1 of blue for sorcery. Take an extra turn, just for 2 mana. Take an extra turn, even if it's just on turn 2, just to get an extra land ahead of everybody. It's amazing.
Yeah. This is S. This card
is just an S tier, right?
It's one of the best cards ever printed again.
Time Walks exile themselves now, and they cost 7.
Yeah, and 5 mana Time Walk or Time Warp is already a strong Magic card. That's a good Magic card. It's a very strong Magic card. It's a Magic card that sees a ton of play in Commander because it's amazing. This cuts 3 mana off of that. That is absurd.
Hey, we got the whole Power 9 on here.
We do.
Excluding Time Twister, which isn't banned.
Well, for some reason.
They're all S tiers. Next, let's go to Tinker, which is 2 and a blue for a sorcery. You sack an artifact, and then you go get an artifact, and you just put it right into play. Not really any caveats there. You just sack some crappy thing, and you go get the best thing. A lot of the banned cards on here, I would go get Time Vault or Sundering Titan or Paradox Engine any day of the week. But a lot of the actual targets in Commander, how good are they?
Yeah, we're talking about, we got Bladesteel Colossus, which is the card that lets you kind of just eliminate each player one at a time pretty quickly, especially when you're doing it for 3 mana on turn 2.
I think Bolas' Citadel is better. Might be the best thing to get.
It's one of the best things to get for sure, Bolas. It depends on the game. If you're putting this out on turn 2 on the play, and you know your opponent's probably most likely on presenting blockers, Bladesteel's probably better in that case.
Right, but if they have Grizzly Bears, then I would probably go get Bolas' Citadel.
Yeah, I mean, if my opponents have all put creatures out, then yeah, I'm putting out Bolas' Citadel.
Clearly not remotely reasonable for what you're getting. You're getting the best artifact in your deck in play for 3 mana, and all you got to do is sack something. It's kind of like the artifact natural order, and natural order is totally fine, but this is not okay. I wonder if this could be unbanned. I'm not sure. Either way, it would be one of the best cards in the format.
Yeah, it's top of C, I think. It's a very strong Magic card. It would be format defining, as most of these cards would be if they were legal in the format. I mean,
just not quite as game ending as some of the other ones.
No, yeah. I mean, at least you have a chance to respond to it right. You have a chance to stop it. They're going to get value. They're going to get something good.
You're behind. You're in trouble.
You're behind. But it is beatable, at least. Some of these cards are not beatable.
No, some of these, this next one, Tolarian Academy, is a land. It doesn't tap for mana unless you have artifacts. Then it taps for blue mana for all of your artifacts. So if you have 5, it taps for 5 blue mana. Not fair. Not really costed for anything. I mean, every deck can play artifacts. Every deck will. This is nuts in every deck.
Yeah. What else should be right next to this is Gaia's Cradle.
I just put it right next there.
I don't know why Gaia's Cradle's not sitting right next to this on this
dodging
list.
bullets, let me tell you.
I don't know how it's not banned. So yeah, Tolarian Academy is better than Gaia's Cradle a little, not a ton. So this is easy S tier. This card's amazing.
I think so. Probably above Time Walk.
Obviously absurdly strong.
All the crop rotations and expedition maps just mean you're going to see this every time.
It's part of infinite combos. It wins you games. I mean, card's amazing.
Anything that untapped lands, don't forget about it. This next one is a card that is not functional in the format because we don't know what people are going to do. It's Trade Secrets, 1 blue. So target opponent draws 2, and then you draw up to 4 cards, and then that opponent can repeat this process as many times as they want, and it's only 3 mana, just opens the door for collusion, game enders. Like, the game's not over. This doesn't win the game. But it kind of ruins the game for 2 people guaranteed.
Yeah, it makes the 2 players, like, they can essentially, if the one can decide, let's just do it. I'll draw 2, you draw 4, let's go all the way up.
Or even just, hey, let's draw the same number. I'll draw 30 if you draw 30. Okay.
Yeah, it's just not a fair card. It's poorly designed. It doesn't work with Commander at all.
How strong is it?
How strong is it? I think it's a bad Magic card. I think if a card that says you and target opponent draw 30 cards, I don't think is that good of a Magic card.
Because you have to spend cards on it.
You have to spend mana to draw the cards.
If you get rid of it away, that's cool.
And your opponent's in control of it, right? So if they don't want to do this, they don't do it, right? They do it the one time and they don't repeat it.
Yeah, so this definitely seems like a poop. It might even go right here.
Yeah, I think so.
We kind of forgot about these cards that are just not functional.
Yeah, not functional, not real cards.
Should be banned, just not that great.
Yeah, just don't they don't work in the format. It's not because they're good, it's because they just don't function in Commander.
They don't work. Upheaval is a good one, though. It's 4 blue for a sorcery. Bounce all permanents. All of them. Right now.
I mean, Upheaval, obviously, dumb. Not fun. It is.
To me, it's an Armageddon variant, except you get to rebuild first.
You also, you bounce everything to its owner's hands.
They're going to have to discard.
Land. You start the game over in this weird state, and it's so dumb. Oh, my God. I mean, I think his card's not that good. I think you have to build around it hard, and even then, it's still whatever.
I think in the late game, though, this is actually one of those Armageddons that goes up in the late game because, all right, we're going to reset everything, except, I floated 10 mana. Here's my best stuff. You have nothing.
Yeah, so I would just put this in D.
I like it at D too. I like it like right here.
I think it's a pretty bad Magic card, even in Commander, but it does I think it needs to stay on the ban list because it's obviously unfun.
Those 1% of decks that can take advantage of this, I don't want to play against that.
It'd be horrible. Any resolving upheaval is not fun. Cyclonic Rift is already ridiculously unfun, and it's not even close to as annoying as this.
When resolving a spell just makes it look like you're ending the game, probably not a spell you want.
No, not even a little bit.
Oh, you guys packing up? No. Playing a Magic.
No, we're resolving a spell.
We're in the first main right now. And finally, last one. Yawgmoth's Bargain, 4 black enchantment, skip your draw step. Pay a life, draw a card. This is a very interesting one. Because of the presence of Necropotence, which is legal, obviously, it's not on this list, which is black, pay 1, draw 1 at the end step, basically.
Yeah, this is interesting. I don't know which one of these 2 cards is better.
Twice the cost, but a better effect on the card.
Yeah, but like a distinctively better effect, right? You don't have to worry about the discard thing. You're going to just basically pay your whole life, draw the cards, you get them right away.
That's what they both do.
But you don't have to wait to your end step. There's a big...
Right, yeah, no, I'm saying that they both are like pay 27, draw 27.
Yeah, exactly. But obviously this one is going to result in more wins right away, right? Mm-hmm. Because so it's 6 mana and it's going to result in wins. It's probably an A, right? This card is absurdly good.
Right. I mean, it's probably like right. You shouldn't pay a life to draw a card.
We already have a Bolas Citadel, which card's great, right?
Fantastic.
Like it's a fantastic card. It's a really bad version of Yawgmoth's Bargain.
Yeah, we already said it might be the best Tinker target if Tinker was legal.
Yeah, exactly. This card is way better.
Mm-hmm.
This card is, I mean, it's stupid. It would be 6 mana, resolve it, win the game most of the time.
You know what's kind of funny? There would be a lot less discussion if Necropotence was banned. Because if Necropotence was banned, I'd probably put it in like the A tier. I'd be like, oh yeah, they're really similar. Like they're both completely bonkers cards. Let's put them, really high up.
Something interesting about Yawgmoth's Bargain is it would if it was legal, it would see a lot of casual play because it's good without any real synergies. It's just
Bargain.
Yeah, it's so good. It's just such a good Magic card. But it would be essential. It would take the place of what is the card? Ad Nauseam. In CEDH. So in CEDH, you would just do this instead of Ad Nauseam.
Probably, right?
Because, yeah, right?
This is a better rate, but it's 1 more mana.
It's a better rate.
Maybe you just play both. I don't know.
There's not as much of a risk. Yeah, you could probably just play both. It would be a really, really strong Magic card, obviously.
It would. And what else is strong besides this tier list is this other mystery tier list that I don't even know what it is, but I'm pointing you to it, and you can go watch another tier list of us being crazy people right now.
Click it. Peace out, Tribe Scouts.